So now you're getting pins and needles and numbness in your baby toe and your fourth toe.
That's right.
So we're going to start in your lumbar spine for 4 minutes, and then we're going to go down and treat the foot, and then we're going to go back to the lower back again. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to do what's called a muscle activation. So I'm going to ask you to move your foot in a particular way. I'll move it voluntary first of all, and then I'll ask you to resist it. So I'm going to ask you to prevent me from moving it. Are you getting that numbness and pins and needles all of the time?
All of the time, but it's actually worse now because I've been walking for about 20 minutes.
And if you could rate that scale of discomfort or pain or numbness on 1 to 10, where would it be?
It's up at an 8, 9.
An 8 and a 9.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're experiencing that today?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
So while Tommy is doing that, it's this leg.
Yeah.
So what I'd like you to do while he's doing that is just very slowly just start swinging your leg backwards and forwards. And every so often then just pull your foot back towards you, turn it in, turn it out, and just let it fall down. And just do that a few times. Now when we started doing this, you had the pins and needles. You still have the pins and needles?
Yeah.
Are they any less? Are they any more?
Same.
The same, okay.
Yeah, same.
And this has been going on for how long?
5.5 years now.
Okay, and was there anything specific that happened?
It was following the birth of my son, my second son, by C-section.
Okay.
And shortly after that, I had trouble with my lower back and numbness in the whole saddle area. And went in for surgery then shortly after that, and that didn't it alleviated some of the numbness, but I still suffer with numbness, and then I was left with the numbness here and in my foot.
Okay. And that numbness is persistent?
Constant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And despite the numbness, you still get that tingly pins and needles feeling?
Especially when I've been walking, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do in a second is, because you had a C-section, we're going to change what we're doing slightly. So I'm going to get Tommy in a minute to take the laser to the bottom of your T-spine, because sometimes when you're doing a C-section there can be damage to the nerves here because they're not really interested in being gentle, they're just interested in getting the baby out.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can have tearing there. So I'm going to get Tommy to put the laser in a minute, right just there. Sometimes because there's a lot of numbness there, you're not really going to do too much with the laser the first time. What we should be able to do with the laser the first time is affect it. And that means that, let's say your buzzing pins and needles is around 8 now. If we can even bring that down to 7 or 6, then with more treatment you can bring it down further than that.
Okay.
The numbness is basically because there's damaged nerves. Now at the moment we're doing a study with diabetes patients who've got peripheral neuropathy, which means that they're not having sensation in their feet, and we've managed to regenerate those nerves and return sensation. So really with this there isn't too much of a difference there, but in order to get that regeneration cycle going, we're talking in terms of 10 treatments to do that. So I think really from our point of view with you today, what I'm just looking for is a change, however slight, that basically gives us an indication that yeah, we can do something. And what we're going to do this time is I'm going to get Tommy to put the laser here. And the reason we're putting it there is because you have a nerve there which is quite close to the surface. The superficial peroneal nerve crosses over there. So we're going to target that. So just let your leg relax and we're going to go along that area. Now sometimes when we target that nerve, what it can do in your foot is make your foot feel a little numb. Okay?
Even more so.
Even more so. If it does, what should happen after that is the pins and needles should spike and then they should die off of it. Okay? But it'll take about 2 minutes for that to happen because we're going to have nerve communication going down and back to the brain, and until it starts returning again we're not going to get a change. So what we're going to do is find the pulse, so one here, and decide, and find the pulse, so one here and one there. So
Yeah, I can feel it sort of throbbing.
Yeah.
Two little toes.
that's good. So what we're basically doing now is we're hitting the posterior tibial nerve, the anterior tibial nerve, and the posterior tibial nerve. Yeah, so we're hitting both of those. So what you should start to find now is that hot starts to fade. So while Tommy's doing that, you can wiggle your toes.
Wiggle. Yeah, it's not as intense.
Okay, so the intensity is going down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not usual for you.
No.
Good.
Yeah, it's not throbbing,
Okay.
but it's still numb, like.
Oh yeah.
But it's not.
Like the numbness isn't, in
That's
fairness,
not gonna-
the numbness isn't going to go away.
Yeah.
You're probably going to look at 10 to 12 treatments to affect the numbness.
Okay.
You'll get an effect on the numbness after about 4. Because at that stage the nerve is beginning to re-educate and it's beginning to learn what it's supposed to do.
Even after 5, 6 years,
Yes.
it will. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after 12 treatments of that, Robert, how long could that last for if we get...
Because you're re-educating a nerve, if the nerve is responsive to that, then it's a re-educated nerve. It's going to continue to perform the way that you've educated it to perform. So all you're basically doing is, this is like a motorway, and what's basically happened is something is blocking the motorway, so the traffic can't get through. So what we're doing with the laser is we're removing the traffic that's blocking that, and once that's removed, then the nerve can conduct itself properly, so the flow of information can go up and down. And like we know this from the research that we're doing with the peripheral neuropathy study in diabetes, because we're getting very, very positive responses there.
Wow.
So this is just a crossover from that. So how is it feeling now?
It actually feels good.
Yeah. All we're just basically doing is, where the laser is firing on the other side, what we're actually doing is allowing the laser to meet midways. So what's happening is the entire nerve band around the retinaculum there, we're targeting all of those nerves now. So what should be happening now is effectively a cooling of the foot. So even though there's numbness there, that hot buzz shouldn't be there at
Definitely
all.
no hot, no.
And it should be quite cool, and even though it's numb, it should feel more normal.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the 8 or 9 that I had when I came in.
Yeah, so where are we now?
Probably 6. Maybe.
Okay, so we were aiming for 7, we're down to 6. So the interesting thing with this is, if we repeated this whole cycle again, we'd actually get to 3.
Wow.
In that quick of a time?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
a week later?
No, no.
Oh, really?
If you repeated this cycle now, you'll actually get this to 3.
Okay.
Because what's happening here, you've got an active nerve response.
Okay.
So when you have an active nerve response, it means that the body is reactive to that. So just by hitting the whole thing again, you'll get that way down.
Wow.
Okay, how are you now?
It actually feels great.
Okay, have we gone below 6?
I actually think we are.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going below 6. So
Sorry,
you're
now, let
happy?
me just stand up and
Just
see.
stand up.
I mean, it's still numb, like, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's nowhere like what it was when I came in. It's
Okay.
about a 5.
So you'll be happy with that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So another happy lady.
I'm a bit shocked.
A bit shocked.
Both doctors I've been to, they're like saying severed nerves and damaged
Yeah.
nerves. There's nothing you can do.
Well,
Give it 2
severed
years.
nerves, damaged nerves, technically there isn't anything that you can do, but with the laser it's a re-education process, and the nerve, in research we know we can get the nerve to come back.